We're gonna put a cam on this bad boy, so we're gonna start ripping parts off and go from there. Pop this cover off first, like so. Slide that out of the way, and then we will take off this big cover here. So like this screw, that screw, all the screws. Air filter housing comes off. And we'll remove the carburetor. It'll be separate from the tank. There you go. Yep, just set that to the side. Take this flywheel off, get the nut, we'll knock it off, put a couple pry bars and hammer it. Okay? Yeah, sometimes they're really on more persuasion. Came off. Now we gotta get remove this assembly here and then clean all this off. So when we remove the engine, you already drained the oil, right?
Yeah.
So like, I'll teach you something. In the mechanical world, always use leverage as an option. Instead of like you grabbing that, pulling it, making it harder, if you just grab it and pry off of something, it'll make your nasty stuff so it doesn't fall inside. Nice and clean. Key off so you don't lose it, the crankshaft. And then we're gonna take this valve cover off here and probably take the push rods off. Go ahead and take this valve cover off. All right, so let's remove the top cover here, the main cover, so all these screws up here on top. And then to take the head off, or they call this the jug, to take this off, you have to take off these. There's 2 bolts inside of here, and then there's 2 bolts in here that you have to remove. So if you can see that, there's a bolt down in there on both sides. And then there's gonna be 2 inside, but we'll see those in a second. Take the big cover off, the crankshaft has to come out, so you're gonna have to remove. If yours looks like this, if it's a BBC unit, you have to remove all the stuff that's on it, like this one here. But if you're not BBC'd, it's a lot easier. Just a blade adapter and a key and a pulley. It's come off. Clutch comes off. Clutch drum slides off. Slide off this pulley here, or this disc. Just grab it like that. Yep. Work it off. Boom. Okay. Remove the spring here. Grab something to hook it. Yeah, it's a little tough. Hit it with your purse. Here, let me see. Let's give it a little jolt. Like this. Like that.
Gotcha.
Take that cable out first. And now you can slide that whole assembly off. Yep, that's just one piece. Okay, now disconnect the belt. If you use a screwdriver, let's see. It's a trick to removing the belt. If you take a pry bar like this and you turn the transmission like this, look at the belt. So if you rotate this, you can slide the belt off. So here. So you're gonna push it like that and then slide the belt off with the other hand. I got it. I got the mower. Not enough room. All right, now we're gonna flip it back over and pop the top off. Not sure if I said this, but this is Jacob's first time doing a cam, so he's learning. All these screws out. We'll take the cover off. And this is all held on by glue, so not glue, but automotive sealant. So to pop this cover off, right down in here, you can stick a screwdriver in there and twist it to, and it does it on each side, so you can remove this top cover by just simply putting the screwdriver and twisting it on each side. Boom, boom. Okay, we'll slide this whole cover off now. Okay. Nice and easy. Okay. We'll have to clean up all the silicone here, but there you go, top's off. Okay, now we're going to remove the connecting rod cap here, and you can rotate the engine to have more access to it. And then then after you get the cap off, leave the piston inside the jug. Then you're going to remove these 2 screws here, and then inside the head, there's 2 more screws. Okay. We're going to remove the spark plug so we're able to rotate the engine easily to align the connecting rod cap where it has a cavity where you can put a wrench on it from the backside. Now, you can grab this engine, you can turn it over here, probably like that, and rotate, or you can wrench on those because you have access now. Just don't let the piston come out of the jug. The cap is directional, so you can see that there's like a little step up there, that line, that straight line. So if you put it on backwards, it won't have that line that's aligned with it. So that's how you know which way the cap goes back. So just remove that cap. It should come off pretty easy. It's just held on by suction right now. Now take these arms off. So you're going to rotate or push these pins out, and the rocker arms will come out. And then you can get the push rods out. So now the other side slides out. Boom, boom, boom.
That has to work for me, man.
Yeah, exactly. Now down in there's 2 bolts, 1 on each side. Always inspect, and then always inspect the connector rod cap bearing. Make sure this is not scored or has any metal transfer or anything like that. But this is a normal connector rod cap because we have taken these apart before, and there have been metal shavings in these engines, and then they're basically ruined. So. Whether that's warranty or lack of oil. So always check your bearing surfaces when you are removing parts. In this point here, you want to pry it away or hammer it away, but you just gotta take off this whole assembly will come off, guys. On is to give you a pry point, so you can look in this there's like a little channel right there, and that's where you'll stick your screwdriver down in there and twist it to. Okay, now don't keep the piston in it and take this whole assembly off. Pull it all the way out. Okay, the reason why you have to take the whole thing out is because that's the cam right there. The cam is under this jug to where you can't pull it out unless you take the jug off. So set that to the side for now. So once you get this, inspect the bearing, inspect the cylinder, make sure it's not scored. Connecting rod, make sure that's not scored, and then we'll go about removing the crankshaft here. So go ahead and slide that crankshaft upward, and that metal gear that's on the crankshaft should come with it. So sometimes it slides off, that's okay. But yeah, take that out. Take this gear off, and it has a key on it. See the gear on that timing key, or on the timing gear? Yep. Take that whole thing off. Yep. Slide it onto the shaft where it goes. So yeah, see that key? It goes right here in this notch. When you put it back in, when you put this gear back this gear back on the crankshaft, later on, when you go to drop it in the engine, it'll fall. And what's happening is techs are installing this gear not in the slot, and it's damaging engines. So we have to make sure that we don't do that. This washer here tends to get lost, so just make sure that washer goes back there. You can just leave it there, it's fine. Yeah, you just gotta make sure it's there. Now pull that cam out. Cam will just come out like how it is. There you go. And that's the recall cam. So get a new one. Let me see this. So what's happening is this compression release. See how it's stuck? Yeah. So when I try to shake this thing, this little piece here needs to slide over right here. And what it does is it makes that there's like a little silver thing right there. It's supposed to come out. And what it does is it opens up the exhaust valve for a split second, and at a certain RPM, it closes. So it's open at a slower RPM, but once it hits the centrifugal force to rotate this, then it closes back up and allows the valves to move, and allows the engine to be started. Okay, so when you slide this new one in, just make sure it's under these I guess lifters, if you want to call them that. And then these 2 dots here are your timing mark. So what you're going to do is you're going to slide the crankshaft in now, and the crankshaft has a timing mark on it too. That gear that you took off, look for the timing mark on that gear on the top side, like right there. You see those 2 dots? Yep. Okay, align the 2 dots. It's okay. No, it's okay. You can leave it. Leave it there. Okay, but time it. Time it while it's down there. So we're just going to put this like this. I drank too much Red Bull this morning. Okay, so that's aligned. So now slide your crankshaft in. Look for that key slot on the crankshaft. That key slot, and just align it with that one down in there. There you go. All right, so we got the crankshaft slid in, cam's timed. If you have a gap from the top of the cam to this timing gear, then the crankshaft is not seated all the way, so it should look exactly like this. Now we're gonna clean off all the silicone and off of there and off of the jug here, and then we'll move on to putting the jug back on. First things first, you're going to put the silicone back where it was, so a bead around here, and do the whole surface area here. And you have your dowel pins already in the engine. Okay, so we'll do this first, then we'll slide the jug into the engine. Grab the jug, muffler obviously on your side. Slide that bad boy in. We'll put this crankshaft down at the bottom there, so just make sure that connector rod goes between those 2 weights. And try not to touch the sides, obviously. Make sure it's straight. So the dowels here are going to go inside of those holes, those little crevasses there. There you go. Okay, now your bolts. Remember which ones go on the inside and which ones go down the inside here. They're 2 different sizes. So, all right, we got the jug put on, and now we're torquing down these bolts here for the jug, and I think it's about 20 foot-pounds. So we'll get those torqued down and go to the next jug's torqued down. Now we're putting the connecting rod cap on. He's doing that now, so we'll get that put on, and we'll get that torqued down. All right, we got the connecting rod cap put on. We got those bolts torqued down to about 10 foot-pounds. Now we're gonna put the glue on the sump cover here and put the cover back on. All right, so we got the cover glued on, and now we're going to put the bolts in and torque those down to about 20 foot-pounds. We got the cover put on with the silicone, and now we're doing a cross pattern with a torque wrench, setting the cover at 20 foot-pounds. Okay, next we're putting on this little flange thing. I think it's just kind of a cable holder for the coil. So we got the coil wire connected back up here, and we'll move on to the next step. Now we're getting the carburetor put on, and then we'll move on to putting the push rods and everything on the valve train. The air filter covers going in with the crankcase breather line going in there. And we'll get the air filter and everything else put on. Okay, so we're actually going to do the flywheel next, so we're able to turn the engine over easily while putting in the push rods and rocker arms and everything. So we're going to get this flywheel thrown on there and torque down, and move on to the push rods. Yeah, so now we're going to be putting the push rods in with the rocker arms. Just make sure that you use them on, I mean, it doesn't really matter on this engine, but it's always a good practice to put the rocker arms on the same side that you took them off with. So we'll get these put in, and we'll go to the next step. Another thing is, when you're putting these pins in that hold these rocker arms, it should go from the exterior in like this. In case these were to walk out, they won't be able to, because they'll actually hit the valve cover. If you put them from the inside in, this pin can fall out and go inside the engine. So a little tip for you guys. So now we're going to rotate this, and always, anytime you take the head off or you replace anything in this area where you're taking the head off, or the jug in this case, always adjust your valve. So we're going to rotate the engine here, and find the intake when the intake goes down, and because the valves are going to be completely off, especially because because you don't know which is top dead center on which stroke. So the intake never went down. Now the intake is going down, and then now as the engine comes up, as the piston comes up to top dead center, which is there, now we'll adjust the valves, and you can see they're pretty off. So we'll get those adjusted and move on to the next step. We set these to about 005 or 006, it's up to you. I think it calls for 004 plus or minus 1. So we're going to set them at 005 and call it a day. Funny about Honda is they actually use a 9mm on this nut for the adjusting the valves, which don't ask me why. All right, we're gonna get the muffler guard put on and then put the big shroud over and everything, recoil starter assembly, and then we're gonna put these bolts in. You kind of don't want to just put this cover on with the glue and just sink the bolts in. You want to let it sit for a second and put them in. So while that's setting up, we'll start moving on to the other piece. All right, we're gonna start it. How many pulls is it gonna take? Give her a good pull too. Don't hold back. What I tell you. These guys had no confidence in it starting on the first pull, so now we're going to put the bottom end on. So we're gonna put the clutch assembly on, spring, cable, all that stuff, blades and everything, and it'll be ready to rip. That's okay. Hit the blades again. Okay, tougher belt.